can share the skin. We can know how we feel inside, instead of going down an endless road, not knowing if we're dead or alive. Some things are worth fighting for, some feelings that never die. I'm not asking for another chance, I just wanna know why. There's
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in this crazy, crazy world. Hope you all are doing fantastic in the internets, in the cyberspace, in the world of insanity that seems to be exploding across the universe. I tell you, ever since 2020, I swear, time has flown faster than light speed. I don't know. Maybe our lives are now all of a sudden light speed. Or maybe it's just an awakening for many of us out there in the crazy outworld internet of things. The crazy explosions of insanity. Yes, we know it's time. We know the time to go live. Yes, Snake, we know it's time to go live. I don't know why my phone sounds like Metal Gear, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome, one and all, to this show. I hope you all are doing great. I hope you're all doing grand. I hope you all are having a blessed and dope experience. If you're not, if you're going through hard times, if you're stressed out of your mind, I feel you. Honestly, I really do. I really do feel you. I'm stressed out of my mind. I'm like dealing with so much work right now, it's a joke. And also on top of that, I gotta get a life. But right now, until stuff start, well, let me put it this way. COVID probably was the best time for you to get a life and actually be social and do whatever's. Now, oh gosh, prices. Hooey! Good luck traveling, kids. That's all I'm gonna say. Good luck traveling. You probably should have taken advantage of the travel time in the last year. But oh well. Stuff happens. The pandemic's kind of just stopped everybody from doing anything, and everybody just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's fact. I don't know what's real. I don't know what the hell is going on. I just know people are just losing their marbles over silly things. Kids, get out of the house. I know that sounds weird, especially if you're enjoying your home job, or you're studying at home, or heck, if you are one of the many that has managed to acquire a job where you're working from home, consider yourself freaking blessed, because I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people that kind of want your position. I'm just saying. There's a lot of people that like the idea of, why am I commuting? Why am I doing all this? Why am I traveling and spending gas? And what, cars are expensive anyways. I don't really need a car. I know people in New York don't need a car. I know plenty of people up in the cities that are like, commuting. Oh gosh, it's a frustration. You're right, it is a frustration. So, that said, this fantasy land of people wanting to be going back to the office, okay, I can respect that, but I'm just saying, I sense a trend. I think we all seen it. I think we all are witnessing it, and I think in some ways it ain't going back. Not in the traditional way, but that's just me. I'm just talking out loud here, talking off freaking tip of my tongue, just stuff that's going through my noggin, my brain. That said, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you guys are at, I hope you guys are having an awesome time. Once again, we are live on both YouTube and on Twitch simultaneously. If you can't tell, there is a little indicator on the corner. I did some upgrades 5 years later. I had to wait to get the money, but I did do some upgrades. I expanded a little bit. Just a basic setup, nothing crazy. I don't know if this thing's taking off or not, but I'm still going to be producing content whenever I can. It's just been quite interesting. Been working on some personal projects, been launching some things here and there. But that said, whether you're busy in real life, or you're trying to make a side hustle, or heck, you were laid off months ago, you tried getting a job, then got laid off again, and then you got a job, and then you got laid off again, and then you end up like, well, F this! Screw this, kids! Okay, I have to ask a solid question that I think other people are witnessing and noticing too, because I'm noticing this too. Who here is thinking there's something not right in the air right now? We have this hilarious situation where, You've got businesses that are saying there's a labor shortage, right? And yet, when you go and apply for that same businesses, they don't hire, or they don't call, or they don't give you a hit up or anything. It's like the weirdest thing. Oh, we just need qualified candidates. Well, I don't know about you, buddy, but I think you might have to reconsider qualified candidates and say, fuck it. Just, I don't know, train them. I'm just saying. You're going to have to train them. The education system's high on something right now. They're high on the high in the monies, the high in them opportunities, the high on the whatever the crud universities are teaching kids today. I don't know. I'm 25. I haven't been to college or trade or any of that stuff. So I don't know. I haven't been to that life. I hadn't really experienced that life. I don't know what that life is like, but from where I'm sitting, yeah, there's got to be some upgrades. There got to be some changes. Heck, I would say just tear it down and just say, screw it, free enterprise. We're gonna just say screw it and just train the kids. I don't know. Right now, at this point in time, you can have your kids study 5 different books. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna necessarily know 100%. Well, I know how to use a firearm because I read about it and I watched movies about it. Oh, I know how to hack a computer because I read books about it. And I've also had watched the internet people and movies show logic too. It's literally the logic of a lot of people right now. Even our own country's hilarious. Not even joking. Try not to make this political, but anybody ever think that sometimes the politicians are not going based off logic, but they're going based off of stuff they saw in TV and movies? Or games, maybe? I don't know. I played a lot of games over the years. I could kind of relate because by video gaming logic alone, I know this is not how real life works. Then again, you can take video game logic and you can just utilize it in real life. See, here's what I see happening in the near future, okay, kids? Okay, you want to hear something funny? You want to hear something weird? In my personal professional opinion, I probably should have just titled this the Chill Out Gamer Podcast, but whatever. In my personal opinion, I believe that we are going to be seeing a situation where once millennials and Gen Zers take control, they're going to apply a lot of video game logic because that's all we really... Well, I shouldn't say that's all we do. There's some people out there that do other things. But if I'm going to be real, that's one way I would imagine people basically going and doing is basically applying video game logic to literally everything in the stream, in the manosphere, in the circumstance, in the world, if you wills. Because I would be doing that personally. Now, you may be wondering, how would I utilize video game logic? Well, simple, my friend. Here's a weird concept: Resident Evil. Okay, I got all these bullets. I can basically use these bullets all on these individual zombies or save them for the really, really big hard boss battle at the very end. What are you going to use them for, my friends? You know, it's the same thing with money. I could spend my money on these little insignificant things that are like whatevers, or I could save up all my money for the really, really big thing at the end. I don't know. But right now, even saving is becoming kind of, well, let me put it this way. You're better off investing, it would seem, than saving right now. Well, granted, I shouldn't say that. Don't take financial advice from me, kids. Do your due diligence, please. I'm still trying to figure it out. But where I'm sitting and seeing, right now, if you manage to save yourself a lot of money, you have a bit of a cush, you can kind of play around and do whatever the crud you're off. Congratulations, my friend. But also, I would highly recommend and suggest to a lot of people that you also look into investing and saving, or I shouldn't say saving. Save reserves in case of emergencies. You know, have a, you know, think of like the health of a video game. You know, oh shoot, the dude just took a chunk of my armor. I almost died from that. You know, basically have that, but then also have investments or investing. And well, let me put it this way: investing is going to explode your I should say your percentage return more so than saving, which is kind of funny to me because back in the day it used to be the opposite, but I guess now because nobody knows what's going on and nobody knows what's up. They're just saying F it, and people are getting random results. That's kind of how I've been playing life, kids. I'm just gonna give you an insider on that too. That's literally how I've been operating in regards to particular deals. Oh my gosh, that music! Why is that music so loud? Work in progress, kids. Work in progress. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start talking about the subject of today, because tragically I am short on time. I just realized I'm playing Deus Ex music. That's funny. I actually do have a video that I'm going to be putting together talking about Deus Ex, but also going to be talking about something else. So that's coming soon later this month. But that said, you may be wondering, why am I talking about Rainbow Six Siege? And what exactly is going on with Rainbow Six Siege? And also, oh shit, I forgot to play Rainbow Six Siege. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, kids. Well, it's kind of funny. Let me put it this way. Gaming right now is in a weird place, I would say. Gaming right now, you know what? Let me change this. The music's actually kind of distracting to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being distracted by my own music that I am utilizing. Just here's a better conversation based music. There we go. And let me just put my voice louder. That way you can hear me above the music. Not exactly sure how the audio sounds in person. Please comment below if there is any audio issues. I pray to the heavens that there isn't any audio issues. But let's just get real with each other. Rainbow Six Siege, Ubisoft. A lot of funny circumstances have been happening in regards to Ubisoft, and in the last couple of months, you probably have been seeing them too. You've also probably been getting the same vibes I've been personally getting. Mainly because of the fact that Ubisoft is, I see where their priorities are heading. But then again, when you look at the gaming industry of today, I see where a lot of these gaming companies are headed. And I'm going to be honest with you, kids, I saw this kind of come in a minute. But I also kind of expected that we would eventually get here. But I also kind of put this weird perspective, this weird thought happening. And it goes just beyond gaming. It actually involves real life. You and I's everyday life, okay? So let's just get started with Siege. What's going on with Siege right now? Well, Siege is doing an event advertising for Rainbow Six Extraction, which is the new sort of weird, I guess, I wish I could call it a DLC, but it's not. It's simply Ubisoft kind of cashing in on the idea of Outbreak and making it into its own game, which in my personal opinion, I think is kind of a mistake. If I'm just going to be honest, I think it would make and add more to Siege if it was a completely new mode or an expansion or something. If they were to do that, okay, maybe. But $60 for what is essentially a tactical Left 4 Dead using Rainbow Six Siege. Not even joking. When you look at the gameplay and gunplay itself, I don't know if they did any upgrades. It doesn't look like they did any upgrades to it. The footage that we've so far seen, and correct me if I'm wrong down below, this is something that I've been noticing a lot lately, in the sense that Rainbow Six Siege is... how should I put this? It's a game that's been around since 2015. It's a game that everybody enjoys, or at least those who know what the heck they're doing. And those that don't know what the heck they're doing are like, oh my gosh, this game is so toxic. Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege is not for everybody. I'm just gonna warn you. It's not like Call of Duty where you can just drop in and go in and just be like, yeet. No, Siege is like one of those games where you kind of have to be helping out each other. Even if you're solo queuing it, you still gotta help each other out, because if you don't, well, problems are gonna happen. massive problems are going to happen. Massive problems. And I'm just going to turn the volume down because I can tell it's getting loud. Anyways. But yeah, we have Rainbow Six Siege has been a game that pretty much, technically speaking, should have been dead. And thanks to community, thanks to the developers themselves, thanks to a lot of these individuals out there that have basically brought this game to life, essentially, from the grave, it's now currently still relevant. It's a game that's still up there. It's, I think, what was it, 68,000 players globally from all platforms? Let's take a look. I want to look at it real quick just to refresh my brain. And people could also, on top of that, player count of 2021 currently going at 1,099.83 thousand current players on Steam alone. And hilariously enough, that's just Steam. That's not just, you know, that's not including Xbox. That's not including you know, PlayStation. That's not including Stadia now. I guess now Stadia has it. And there's talks about them expanding the game to becoming cross-platform. There's also talks of the game being expanded upon, you know, basically making it to where people can cross-platform with one another. So Siege is up there. It's one of those games that has somehow managed to not only get better over time, but is a game that has basically gotten more and more complex, I guess is a good word to put it, bigger than it used to be. I mean, let me put it this way. Siege, I think, in a weirdish sort of way, I kind of feel like Siege kind of peaked a little bit in regards to content around year 4, year 5. One of those two. And it's been continuing, you know, going up there, but of course they've switched up everything. You know, you don't need to pay $40 a year for a season pass of operatives. They've shifted away from that completely. Now, if you want to play Rainbow Six Siege and you want to get the new operatives and you want incentives to get it back in there, they're kind of copying Fortnite and Call of Duty's Battle Pass system, where you have a season to play a certain you have a certain period of time to play some content that you probably like and play through the game and unlock the tiers, and upon getting the battle pass, you instantly just get the access to freaking operative. Which is basically copying a little bit of Call of Duty, if I'm going to be honest. That's the closest thing there, because you do get Rainbow Six Siege credits with the purchase of the battle pass and grinding the tiers. Now, granted, wherever your perspective is on the way Ubisoft is doing the monetizing, yeah, it's pretty shitty, if I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of wish that all the operatives were just already unlocked for free. Now, granted, if you're a first-time Rainbow Six Siege owner, yes, you can get the operatives all unlocked, but you have to pay a higher tier because of they have, like, what was it now? They still have the Deluxe Edition. Then they have the Gold Edition, and then there's the Ultimate Edition. And I guess the only difference is, like, what operatives you get at the start. In my personal opinion, that shouldn't really be a thing anymore. If I'm going to be honest, they should just say, screw it, we're just going to go ahead and give our people the operatives, or just make it free to play, which is an argument right now, is should Siege become free to play like Valorant, which is another rising first-person shooter currently out in the market. That, I'm not going to lie, reminds me a lot of CSGO mixed with a little bit of Overwatch and a little bit of Siege-ish. I say ish because, I don't know. I look at Valorant and I see it as more so kind of like CSGO, but getting the abilities from Overwatch and Siege, and adding it on top of there. I really do think that's kind of interesting. Let's see, it's Valorant, right? I just want to make sure I've got my facts straight. I haven't really done much research or played the game personally. Let me look. Yeah, it is that game. It is what I was thinking of. Okay, I just wanted to confirm. First-person shooter. But yeah, you have all these shooters coming out. Call of Duty is kind of a mixed bag right now, if I'm gonna be honest. Black Ops Cold War. I'll be honest, I've been kind of drifting away from the game personally because of running into problems with it on PC. It's just, I don't know what the crud Activision has done, but they basically made it to where, at least with my PC gaming rig, it's not really playable. And then when I go onto console, it's like, it's okay. I mean, let me put it this way. I don't hate the game. I'm just not a fan of it as much as I was with Black Ops 1 and 2. I think Black Ops 1 and 2, that was where the series peaked for that sub-series of Call of Duties. And then after Black Ops 1 and 2, then, well, everything else happened. Me personally, I'm just waiting for Modern Warfare Remake 2. What is it? Modern Warfare, when are they planning to release that? I know they're talking about releasing a World War II game, which I think is kind of a mistake nowadays, if I'm going to be honest, because now you've got Battlefield 2042. And that game I'm curious about. It looks dope. I'm curious how it's going to come out and play. Are we going to have day one issues of servers being atrocious and glitches up the booty hole? Maybe. Let's just be real. Every time a major Battlefield comes out, the only Battlefield I can think of I don't think I've experienced problems with on day one was Bad Company 2 and, oh gosh, what was that one Battlefield that I played years ago? It's been so long since I touched a Battlefield. Battlefield 1? Battlefield 1 had some errors and glitches too, but that game was a little bit more competent when it was released. But Battlefield 4 or Battlefield, like 3, I remember in particular, those games were just glitchy as crud. 4 especially atrocious. I couldn't even beat the campaign because the campaign kept resetting itself. It would fail to save. It would do this weird bug where you couldn't even save the freaking game or whatever. And I think that's tragic, if I'm going to be honest with you, especially if you come from a person that basically has been a Battlefield fan through and through and had endured the glitches and errors. So I'm curious to see what Battlefield 2042 is going to be like. I am personally looking forward to playing it, although I'm questioning if my PC will be able to run it right now. And if you come from in the era of COVIDs or the era of post-2020, and you haven't been fortunate enough to get yourself a next-generation console, or you haven't had much luck in getting yourself a competent GPU or a PC pre-build, then you, my friend, unfortunately, are probably going to have to wait a little bit. Especially if you live in California, apparently. Guys, what is going on over there? Californians, tell me. I visit you guys, and there's like one half that seems okay, and then the other half I'm like, what is going on over here? It's like, you guys, what are you doing? Why are you banning PC gaming? We because of power grid issues? If that's the problem, then how are you guys going to run electrical vehicles? I'm just saying, you guys want electrical vehicles, and the funnier part is your power grid is having issues. Then again, I can't, Texas also is having the similar issue right now, except it's when winter happens. And then after winter, well, then it's just like, okay, back to business as usual. We don't need to upgrade anything. No, you do need to upgrade some stuff. Especially if we just happen to have that one winter storm that just takes out the entire state. I'm just saying. Yes, it may be random, but it's certainly opportunity. But yeah, this is what I'm thinking off the top of my head. But you get the idea. It's one of those weird things that I think that Rainbow's that I've been seeing lately. Oh gosh, what was I talking about? I've lost my train of thought. Lord help me! My brain is having a moment. You ever have those like brain fart moments, except you don't hear a loud noise, it just goes on in your head, so you have an imaginary fart. I was going off to a bit of a tangent there. But Rainbow Six Siege. Let me get back on Rainbow Six Siege. Oh yes, the gaming in general. So yeah, we obviously have this pandemic situation. We obviously have supply issues, supply and demand issues. People don't want to work. Why do you not want to work? I don't know. Maybe because you're not paying them enough to live. Maybe you've been abusing them for so long that now people are just saying enough. Maybe, I don't know. This last year, a lot of people got confronted with reality and now they're taking action. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people right now that I've been talking to lately that have been rethinking their life. So have I. I'm also one of those people. Lately, I've been rethinking where I want to go in life. Lately, I've been asking myself, what do I want in life? And what the hell am I doing here in the first place? I'm losing my marbles. Why am I also living here? This area is crazy. I should probably move somewhere else. And you have a lot of people doing that. And you have a lot of people reorganizing their lives. And of course, naturally, people who've been up the top for a good minute and haven't really been affected are like, okay, guys, we can go back to normal now. Why aren't you going back to normal? What do you mean you guys are leaving? What do you mean that there's some problems happening? What do you mean you all moved to a different state and you can't come back to the job like before? What do you mean you have all that hilarious situation now where basically, because of 2020, and let's just get real, 2020 was a shitty year, but in my personal opinion, I think it gave way to a lot of opportunity and a lot of changes and reality shifts that people hadn't been thinking about, but now the mainstream of people are going, it doesn't make sense why we're doing all this. America right now is going through a lot of depression, anxiety, some loneliness. Loneliness, ladies and gentlemen, is the new epidemic. That is the problem. Why do you think gaming is so popular? Because us kids, well, where I live, we don't know each other. We try to get to know each other, and the neighbors are looking at us funny faces. They look shady. Okay, well, I'm going to go online and talk to people in the voice. And of course, naturally, you have these people going up more and more on the online digital nets doing that. It's fascinating to me because I actually got to use a VR headset for the first time. And what's so funny about VR headsets is that, okay, one, if you've never had a VR headset, it's the weirdest experience ever if you're playing video games in it, because you're like, your brain's like, oh, I'm in this place. And then you're moving around and you unintentionally slap your hand against the wall, or you punch the desk, or you hit your buddy, or you hit the fan because you're scared, or crud, Lord help you, you run out of the freaking room thinking you can run away. Oh wait, this isn't a VR headset. I kind of can't do that right now. That's kind of problematic. Shit. So anyways, you get the idea. But what's interesting is that you have, of course, VR chat. You have like different VR platforms where people are literally saying, you know what? I kind of want to digitally socialize with people. You have people that are afraid to socialize in person because fear. Oh gosh, the bad guys are outside. Oh gosh, the world is ending outside. Oh gosh, pandemic outside. Stay in your homes. Stay in your homes. Now people are saying, fuck that. Nope. No. I've been to airports lately. I've been seeing places. I've been going out and seeing other people doing the exact same thing and saying, screw it. I don't care if I gotta go out alone. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna get laid, or I'm gonna get some action, or I'm gonna get something, something of that nature. People are literally just saying screw it and just going out there. Bicycling. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to find a bicycle that at a decent price. Oh my gosh. Well, of course that's changing now, but Lord help us if more of this stuff comes down. Let me put it this way: we're seeing the ramifications of last year play out, and I feel like we're going to be continually seeing that. And the reason why I bring all this point up is simply because of a couple of things. Number one, gaming consoles, computers, chip shortage, and all that stuff. Now, granted, GPU situation might be getting slightly better because of certain countries banning the use of GPUs and gaming components. That's something they're probably not saying at all and going, oh my gosh, that's right. Gaming computers are bad for the environment. You're banned from buying them. Well, hey, more computer gaming for other states, I guess. That's more people that get their hands on a PC gaming laptop or a PC gaming rig. On top of that, you even have a hilarious situation happening where now I guess we're starting to see a turnaround, but also, I don't know. From where I'm sitting personally, in real life, in my everyday world, life is kind of back to normal. It's still what it is. There are certain things that are no longer there. There are certain things that have just recently returned. I mean, really, honestly, where I'm sitting, life is fine. Life has gotten back to normal, I guess. The only thing's abnormal now is, of course, prices have gone up. Your everyday foods are not as cheap as they used to. There's some places that haven't moved. Okay, here's something I think is kind of interesting. There's a lot of these articles online talking about, oh yeah, prices are going up the roof. Okay, well, not everywhere. I mean, like, they're exaggerating it, kids. No, some things are still the same in price. If anything, there's some price places and some resources now prices are going downward. What's going up? Yes, gas. Gas is definitely going up. And all that stuff. But, gaming. I'm so sorry. I am going off topic once again on this crazy channel. I've been observing, right, the gaming field. And sure enough, confidently enough, it's looking like there's certain retailers out there that are supplying the next-gen game consoles a little bit more frequently than others. Now, tragically for me, I haven't had the chance or the luck of finding myself an Xbox Series X, although one of these days I would like to get an Xbox Series X, just to simply upgrade from my junky old Xbox. I sold my PS4 years ago. I used to have my PS4, and eventually I just looked at it and I was like, it's just collecting dust, and I kind of need space right now for other things going on in my life. I kind of need to switch some stuff out. And so I did. And I did switch out my PS4 for other stuff and gotten some upgrades for my gaming rig, as well as gotten a laptop recently. But that's beside the point. The point of the matter is, when it comes to the next generation, what I see happening right now is people are shifting more and more to PC because right now that's a little bit more doable when it comes to upgrading to the next generation of technology and gaming than, say, of a console. Consoles are still kind of hard to come by. If you've gotten lucky and you did manage to get yourself an Xbox Series X or an S or a PlayStation 5, if you're able to get your hands on it, congratulations, you got your hands on it. Now what? Because there's not that many games on the next gen of consoles. Xbox you might have better opportunity with, because at least they have some of their games backwards compatibility. Now granted, PlayStation is doing the same thing, but to be perfectly honest with you, well, I've kind of stopped caring about PlayStation for a good minute because they're not doing anything right now. Or at least it doesn't feel like they're doing anything. I don't know. Comment down below and correct me if I'm wrong. But when it comes to next generation of gaming consoles, I feel like we're not going to see any of that until insert year here, probably a way into the future. And even then, it's going to be a huge question mark how that works out. But PC gaming, let's just get real. Yes, it's a lot more technical. Yes, you'll probably be frustrated more. Yes, you'll have to learn to troubleshoot computers. Yes, you will have to learn how to do all kinds of different things and shticks. However, in my professional opinion, I kind of think that 1 or 2, 3 years from now, eventually we will start to see supply come back up. However, I will say this, and I do say this. I think console gaming is still going to be playing some kind of a role because apparently it's environmentally friendly in California to own one. I'm just saying, you can't get yourself a mid-tier PC gaming rig. Wow, I still haven't hit the topic of discussion today. I am terrible at that. ADHD struggle is real. So, that said, kids, Rainbow Six Siege. So, obviously, we got Rainbow Six Siege Extraction. Like I said, it's a Left 4 Dead style game. And me personally, I kind of look at Rainbow Six Siege or Rainbow Six Extraction as kind of a mistake in the sense that they should honestly just make that a mode on Siege. They should just say, screw it, add on top of Siege. And I think in some ways that would make the game way more interesting because, let's just be real, yes, you still have that competitive crowd that loves to, compete in ranked matches and get to platinum and higher. However, you also have people who kind of want to, I don't know, they want to play something that's not as competitive. They want something that's co-op based. Maybe they like the idea and concept of Rainbow Six Siege and the characters and so on and so forth, and they just simply want to play something co-op based. In my personal opinion, when Outbreak came out, I know this for a fact, but back when Outbreak came out, I think it was year 3, I knew some people who weren't interested in Siege. I mean, they were interested, but they didn't like how sweaty it was. And when they released that mode, Outbreak mode, there were people that bought Siege simply because of the Outbreak mode that was in it. They liked the idea of a co-op based Left 4 Dead style shooter with you having to deploy gadgets, with you fighting AI, zombie, alien, whatevers. I'm just saying, I feel like Extraction nowadays is kind of cashing in on, oh yes, the pandemic has happened. Oh, this virus is spread across the world and it's from aliens. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way too relevant to reality. I see what Tom Clancy is doing. By the way, the funny part is it used to be called Quarantine, but I guess now that has a bad word. That's a bad word nowadays. So they're like, yeah, we've been quarantining for all year. Let's rename it. What? Extraction. Oh, okay. There we go. But in my personal opinion, I look at the game. I don't know if I'm getting it day one. I don't think I'm going to get it day one. I personally just kind of mentally conflicted whether I should get it on day one or not. But one thing I will say is a fact is that I do find that Rainbow Six Siege or Rainbow Six Extraction, is definitely a weird game for me, a game to be releasing it. Now, in case you all are wondering, there is talks right now that they're apparently delaying Rainbow Six Extraction again till January of 2022. So if you were looking forward to it, I hate to say this, but once again, it's going to be delayed. And I feel like we're going to see this trend continue, at least on the gaming side, at least on anything side, simply because of the fact that, well, let's just be real. Everything kind of got stalled. The world stopped for a year, and now we're trying to restart it again and get it back into motion. And, well, as you can see, we're having errors. We're having issues. There's like one side of the world that's like, we're profiting big. There's another side that's like, we're still fear porn. And then you have people in between. They're like, are we going? Should I stay or should I go? I don't know. But when it comes to next-gen gaming, when it comes to gaming in general, I feel like we're going to be having one of those weird years where when it comes to the gaming perspective, there's not really a whole lot to be hyped about. I mean, what are games off the top? I mean, okay, there is Halo Infinite, granted, but I do think it's kind of interesting that Microsoft's saying, you know what? We're making the multiplayer free to play. If you actually want the main campaign, $60. There you go. Wait, what? Wait, so how big is the campaign? Is the campaign 8 hours long? Is it 12 hours long? If I'm paying $60 for that, then what? Unless, of course, you get the Game Pass, which I did. I got the Game Pass because why not? It's a great way to play games on your PC. It's a great way to play games on your console, especially if you're on a budget. It actually makes sense. But then a thought occurred to me, and this is something, too, with Siege, with Call of Duty, with gaming in general, is a subscription fee situation. If you want to play all these games, you have to pay a subscription to get the service to play those type of games. if you want to get yourself, you know, like a bunch of skins, you have to annually pay $10 to get a certain skin set or a battle pass or whatever you, unless you grinded it, in which case you don't have to. You're saving yourself money. But then it becomes a weird point where you have a hilarious situation where, as you're constantly grinding, and let's just be real, Halo kind of made an interesting point. You lose everything. Like if you let's just say life happens, and you have to deal with real life. You have to deal with your job. You have to deal with everything that's going on the internet and the outer space, if you will. You're not able to really sit down and dedicate your time and effort on video games. Like, if anything, the grind is, it's kind of like a second job, if I'm going to be honest with you. Multiplayer gaming nowadays, I view kind of like, this is literally becoming like a second job. That 2 hours that you spend playing Call of Duty, you could spend 2 hours literally working on or studying on something or doing a side hustle job business. Unless it is your business, unless you are making a living playing video games on the internet, then congratulations, my dude, you hit the lottery ticket on that one. But if I'm going to be honest with you, it really is kind of funny how that has all of a sudden turned into a grind that you have to do. You have this time period to play all this content. Well, I might as well not buy the skins. And then lies an interesting situation where there's people that are feeling left out or feeling frustrated. Now, another thing, too, I think is interesting, and a thought had occurred to me. Now, Ubisoft obviously loves that mullet. If anything, if I'm going to look at their games that they're releasing and the monetary system surrounding it, I feel like they are totally 100% taking advantage of all the microtransaction systems. Now, back in the day, yes, there was, at day one with Rainbow Six Siege, it kind of was that way, but it wasn't as bad. Nowadays, you have this hilarious situation where if somebody, let's say, can't afford much, and they buy the game at a cheaper point, a price point, they only get a handful of operatives. They're going to have to grind their butts off to get to those operatives. Now, granted, Ubisoft would say that, well, yeah, I mean, why else would you be playing the game? Well, I don't know. Why not, as operatives? And granted, they are doing this as time goes on. With every year, they are releasing a new edition going, okay, the deluxe edition now has year 1 to 3 operatives instead of year 1 to 2. But then what about the guy who bought it beforehand? Then he's out of luck. He's going to have to grind versus Timmy, who bought the game a year later, and that operative that he was grinding for isn't as bad. Now, granted, I understand that they are working on that and that apparently they're dedicating that game for another good couple of years. I mean, what was it? They said that for a decade they want to support the game, so I think by the year 2025, that's when they're going to say enough is enough. But maybe not so much. And I will explain why. Because let's just look at Ubisoft right now. What are they doing right now in terms of selling games into the market? So we've had Ubisoft make a couple of games. Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They're right now releasing Far Cry 6, which looks interesting. Far Cry has been one of their flagship titles for the longest of time that I can think of. But I'll be honest, I've kind of stopped paying attention to Far Cry past 3, if I'm going to be honest. 4 I never even touched, and 5 I touched a little bit and thought, okay, this is a competently weird game. But, I can't help but to get this weird sense that these IPs are becoming more watered down a little bit. Far Cry is like one of the stronger IPs nowadays, even despite the fact it's been watered down a bit. But when you look at, say, the Tom Clancy brand of Ubisoft, oh gosh, they're releasing, what is it, a free-to-play shooter? I forget the name of it. Let me look it up. They announced that they're doing a free-to-play shooter where they're literally just taking all the Tom Clancy cosmetics, Splinter Cell, Ghost Recon Siege or whatever, and just kind of smashing it all there into this weird free-to-play shooter and being like, okay, yeah, you can personalize it. What side of Tom Clancy you are? And it's a run and gun first-person shooter, okay? And I'm looking at them like, Ubisoft, what's going on over there? I've been seeing this trend with Ubisoft lately where they're trying to release a freaking free-to-play games. And evidently, to my understanding, I don't know the last time I checked, but the last time I looked, they were not doing so well. X-Defiant, that's the name of the first-person shooter that they announced that they're going to make free-to-play. But apparently, they're not doing so hot with that one. And what's so funny is that other Tom Clancy products like Ghost Recon, Splinter Cell. Poor Splinter Cell. Everybody, like, they have to know there's a need for people that people want a Splinter Cell game. They want a Splinter Cell game. Even though, yes, it's a part of a niche genre that is a niche. If I'm going to be really honest right now, maybe that would be something they should consider putting into or looking into, is getting back a Splinter Cell. Because right now, all they're doing is they're kind of just capitalizing on the fame here. I feel like they're doing all these teases and stuff for Splinter Cell. Either A, so that way people are aware of what Splinter Cell is, or I don't know. I don't know what they're doing and why they're not considering. They're using the sound effects, they're using the cosmetics, they're using the looks of Splinter Cell. And the funniest of situations is that they're not even considerably utilizing Splinter Cell. Like, they're not making Splinter Cell games. Now, granted, in Ubisoft era of today, I don't know if that is a great idea, because I can only imagine what their cosmetic is. The last Splinter Cell game they ever even released was Blacklist, and that was back in 2013. That was like almost a decade ago. Cringe. But you get the idea. It's one of those weird situations now where you have an IP that could totally come back, they could totally utilize, but they're not utilizing it for whatever reason. And they're basically, in a weirdish sort of way, wasting a pretty reputable IP like Splinter Cell and putting it as a cosmetic. Now, granted, unless it's supposed to help market this series so that way when they do release a Splinter Cell, then people know what Splinter Cell is and they're like a little bit more aware of it, then okay, maybe I see what they're trying to get at, and maybe that's a strategy. That's one way to do it. Oh, well, this is a niche genre game. Well, let's put it in a skin somewhere in a more popular game so people are more familiar or aware of it. Or they're just cash grabbing it, in which case I'm rip. I'm sad. They even brought back Michael Ironside, and what was it? Ghost Recon Breakpoint and Wildlands as the voice actor for Sam Fisher, and he's just like a little voiceover side character. I mean, granted, I know he can't really do mocap nowadays, but I just think it's funny to me that they're not utilizing Sam Fisher in the proper way that they should, and that is through basically making a Splinter Cell game of sorts. Now, this is where I personally think is interesting. Ubisoft obviously is a little bit more interested, I find, in the microtransactions. And yes, they're still publishing games, but they're kind of mediocre. Like Assassin's Creed, I'll be honest, I haven't really been interested in Assassin's Creed. I've looked at Assassin's Creed and just kind of like, whatever. It's like, that's been my mindset for this entire time. I've kind of stopped caring about Assassin's Creed, honestly. Watch Dogs, I understand they made Watch Dogs 2 was good, but Watch Dogs, what was that game called? Watch Dogs, Legion? I'll be honest, I was thinking about getting it, and I watched some of the gameplay for it, and I thought, okay, there's some ideas, there's obviously an attempt here, but tragically, it's so watered down and dry, it's not worth, I don't think it's worth the time to me. Now, granted, you probably got Legion and you think, oh no, it's a great time. Good for you. I'm glad you love the game. But from multiple reception from it, and I gotta be real with you too, people, I'm kind of picky when it comes to games that I'm willing to sit down and take my time playing. It just, I'm not really interested in that many video games that are coming out nowadays. They're kind of either mixed bag, or it's just not my niche, or it's just not, I'm just not interested in it or something. I don't know. It could just be me. It could just be me, but I feel like it's not just me. I feel like other people out there are having the same issue, which is why you got a lot of enthusiasm with VR technology, and other type of gaming technologies, because of the fact that there's people right now literally looking for something different outside of the norm, or maybe, just maybe, saying, screw it, I'm just going to make my own project. We've got a couple of people starting indie game developers, making their own indie crafted games. And quite honestly, I think that's needed, especially if we want to see a new gaming generation of talent. That's definitely going to be needed. I feel like the titans of today that were at one point rose to power because of a completely different time period now have other interests. Or maybe, just maybe, and this is a possibility, people aren't interested in gaming anymore. I know as I have grown up, I've had less and less time with gaming, which is why a lot of these mobile platforms I've been seeing, and people joke and meme about, oh, mobile gaming isn't going to be a thing. Guess what? It may be not a thing now on the phone, but we had the Steam Deck. That came out of nowhere, okay? When the Nintendo Switch came out, it was crazy breakthrough technology of the idea of having a hybrid console, okay? You get a game console, and instead of just leaving it at your house, I don't know, you have to travel, or your kids have to travel. Well, guess what? Little Timmy can go, and while he's on the plane or on the bus, he can play a video game. That's in a console quality. And back when, what was it, the PlayStation Vita came out originally, I thought that was a brilliant piece of technology right there that had huge potential. Now, tragically, Sony cut the cord on it a little bit. Probably way too early, if I'm going to be honest, but there was definitely something there. And then the Nintendo Switch came out, and that blew a lot of people's brains away. And now we have the Steam Deck. And the Steam Deck itself, the concept is, okay, you love PC gaming, right, little Timmy? You've invested a lot in Steam already. What if you had the ability, instead of carrying around a big-ass laptop, you could just carry around a Switch-like device and play gaming through that? Now, granted, there's Game Pass, and then, of course, there's Stadia, with the concept of putting controllers on the side of your phone and just transforming your phone into a mobile Switch. Honestly, that's where I kind of see technology going, is more of an emphasis on mobile gaming technology. Because let's just get real, that's less parts, that's less construction of devices. Granted, they still need chips, and right now everything, including your mother, needs a chip. Anyways, back in the day, I remember when mobile gaming was first starting out, it was microtransactions and loot boxes and all this crud, and that's a scheme that I think is just not good for people at all. But a thought occurred to me, and we also got to think big brain logic here for those of you who are intellectual and want to really think about this. Don't you think it's funny that gaming is shifting a little bit more towards, let's just get real. There are people out there that can't get or build their own, desktop PC. And laptops are becoming more and more convenient option because you already got the parts. It's a mobile device, so you can take it anywhere you go. And it's probably one of the more nicer little deals. I recently got an Asus G14 laptop. It's a slim book, which is something never heard of in gaming laptop history, I think. But it does the job. It performs better than my desktop even. And in some ways, I think it's a lot more convenient for me because then, well, let me put it this way. I go into a hotel room and, I don't have, anything to do. Obviously, there's nothing really on TV other than old soap operas and drama and stupid TV reality shows. So I would like to have that laptop there so I could play the 1 or 2 games that I'm actually interested in. Currently, right now, playing the Mafia Definitive Edition and playing Metro Exodus right now, whenever I get the chance. Tragically, I don't really have the chance to do that as much as I used to. But when you look at it from the perspective of how the people that originally gave them and started playing their video games back in the day, it has changed. That has all changed. It's no longer the same audience. Now you have an audience of kids playing stuff like Fortnite. You have an audience of people that have outgrown and don't really have the time or resources to sit down and play a video game all day like they used to. And granted, the COVID era has also exploded the gaming market because a lot of people weren't able to go anywhere or do anything, so gaming was the next convenient option. So, I think it's safe to say that mobile gaming may actually prove to become more of a thing in the present than it was, say, 10 or 20 years ago. On top of that, here's a weird thought I was thinking about. Microtransactions, subscriptions, fees. How many of you all have a subscription to something, anything? How many of you all have, well, how much money is being dedicated to subscriptions and fees? So we all naturally have grown up with this concept through video gaming and through media in general, entertainment, Audible, or maybe you have like your food service that delivers you food every week, Blue Apron or whatever. Well, a thought occurred to me because I'm seeing this happening right now as we speak as an adult, and there's talks about it all across the internet. You will owe nothing and you will be happy. What the hell does that mean? Well, that's apparently a thing that comes from, I guess, the future, like, world leaders who want to change the world or save the planet. And this is something that I think is interesting and might become a thing. It's already becoming a thing in certain walks of life. But here's something I think is fascinating. Let me just start talking about this. So obviously, you as just a wee little lad have grown up conditioned to basically playing video games, and you're naturally paying subscription fees for maybe a free-to-play shooter or free-to-play mobile, or maybe like, Game Pass, PlayStation, whatever. And all of a sudden, and let's just get real, how are people able to afford new cars? How are people able to afford houses? How are people afford anything? Because when you look at where the economy is right now, and let's just get real, we're still seeing the ramifications of it. Yes, there are wages that are increasing, but there's also a balancing act. The economy is weird. I'm not an economic person. I can't speak on expert terms, but I can definitely say as an amateur that, okay, we've got prices going up, and obviously wages are either standing still or they're going up depending where you are or what your field is. But an idea that is becoming more and more prevalent is that there's people fearing that they may not ever own a home and that they're more likely going to be renting a home. There's more and more people fearing that they won't be able to buy their own car, but rather renting a car. What if I were to tell you that the video gaming industry has kind of conditioned us all to the point where now we're in a situation where we may also transform our own lives to a subscription? Let me put it this way. You want the rich life? You can rent it. You don't have to own it. You don't have to maintain it. You don't have to do anything to it. Major companies will take care of that for you. Just simply pay a subscription every month. Now, granted, it's called rent. And that's what's happening. More people are becoming more renters than owners. And maybe you're fortunate enough to break through that ceiling and get to owning a house. But there's already parts of the world, other countries, and the, I think, Eastern European bloc, where what they refer to as an oligarchy. And what it is basically where there's a class of people that don't own anything, but rather they either rent property or they live there because the person who owns it wants them to live there, or what have you. And in the future of uncertainty in America, where people, I'm just going to be honest, there's a lot of opportunists out there. I'm personally not scared of this decade. I'm looking at this decade as the land of opportunity. It's just not the opportunity I don't think people are expecting. It's the opportunity, how should I put this? With great chaos comes great opportunity. And if you're a business entrepreneur, or heck, you're part of a big corporation, you're on the top leaderboards, and if you're listening to me, hi, how are you doing? Chillax, my dude, chillax, or my gal. There's a lot of ladies and guys out there I know that are just pressured because of the executive positions. Nobody likes politics. And then there's some that are thrive in politics. But imagine that, okay? Now, obviously, there's a lot of people that want to raise their standard of living. There's also, unfortunately, a lot of people that are not rich. There's, people's incomes are all over the place. There's people that are making shit tons of money, and there's other people that aren't. It's just how it works. It's just how life works, and I guess. So in a weird way, upon reflection, it makes more sense to me to see America transforming into a renter society. Okay, I want to drive a truck. Well, I can't afford a, $30,000 truck. I can't afford the, anything right now. I can only afford, this much because my income is this much. Okay, well, how do you solve inequality? Simple. You just rent. Subscriptions. Pay a subscription. And think about it. If you're a businessman or a businesswoman or whatever, and you're fearing that you won't be able to afford all the property, think about it. You just put a small fee of something, like say $400 or maybe whatever. Anybody else kind of questioning right now, why is it that we have all these empty buildings in New York? Those buildings could easily be converted into apartments, right? Sure, it'll be a hell of an overload at the beginning, but afterwards, well, let's just get real. That's a lot of muley. That would solve the homeless problem right there. I'm just saying, if you're going to price everybody out of the market of traditional apartments and traditional anything else, all of a sudden, Cyberpunk and Judge Dredd may not be too far off in the idea. Oh yeah, so we built this big-ass building that's like a crazy apartment complex to the point where it might as well be its own city, and it really is. That makes too much sense. Why is it that nobody's doing that? Crud, I might as well do it if no one else is doing it. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I will figure it out. I don't know. But this is an idea that people, I don't think, are thinking about. Or maybe they have thought about it, or maybe they are not wanting to do it because they're like, oh, don't worry, it's just a time period. Things will get back to normal. Normality has fled the window. Sanity had gotten shot, gunned, beaten. I mean, shoot, we rioted sanity out the window. I'm just saying, people. I'm just saying. In these uncertain times where you have opportunists left and right, helpless people, I'm just saying. Subscription society. You own nothing, and you'll be happy. I'm happy that I have a large collection of video games that I can play and only pay $15 a month for. I'm happy of the idea of, hey, I would like to upgrade a vehicle. I don't like drive the same vehicle. Why not have a subscription service where you can interchange vehicles? I'm just saying. When I hear that saying, I think, no, they're just going to make everything a subscription price. Life has become a subscription. I know that's a weird rabbit hole of me going from the state of Rainbow Six Siege into that, but it's something that I have been thinking about a lot, and I kind of can't help but to feel like that might actually become a thing in the near future. But that being said, kids, I'm just a witness to history. I'm just a fellow gamer like you who is watching the world, watch Mommy and Daddy fighting, and questioning heavily the future of our country. And at the same time, playing Rainbow Six Siege and going, damn, if Ubisoft keeps on messing up all these other new games, they're probably going to have to triple down on Rainbow Six Siege because that's the only thing that's working right now. I'm just saying. Am I the only one that's seeing this? I'm just saying. I know Ubisoft loves to just go back and fix their old games and just kind of feed off of them and sell them at a cheap price and then microtransaction them, but I'm just saying, I don't think Siege is going away anytime soon. At least at the rate that new shooters are not really coming out in. When is Battlefield 2042 going to be coming out? That's like, what, next year? So at least this year in gaming, don't expect a whole lot. is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna look at. Oh, it's 20. Wait, is it 2042 or 2043? I don't know. When is that game coming out? Oh, schnack. Well, kids, your boy has to go. It is that hour. It is that time. I hope you all, but yeah, until those new games come out, which is looking like next year might be more unlikely is when we're going to see something, or at least a couple of somethings, unless I'm mistaken. Let's see. I'm looking right now. August 12th and the 16th, that's going to be the beta. You get the idea. Until the games roll around, kids, enjoy the game collection you have today. And if you have Game Pass, well, be even more happy because on the top of that, you got additional games you probably not touched. I know for me lately, I've been going back and playing the classics, and it's been kind of funny because I'm like, I liked this as a kid, as an adult, such like Mass Effect. But that being said, kids, that is just me talking. That is just me chilling. Giving you all a quick update. We are almost done with a couple of videos. I've got some videos planned out for this month, and I'm hoping August be a pretty good month. I will also be live streaming a little bit more now that I got a new setup going, so you'll be able to catch some of these deep philosophical gaming conversations as well as a little bit of slice of life, because let's just get real. Yeah, we may be adults, but in our hearts, we're still kind of kids. Here's a woke comment for you kids. The adults have turned into children, and the children have turned into the adults. Facts. With that said, kids, I am Red Dawn 9000, or Redstorm 117, depending on where you're viewing this from. Hope you all have a great day, and enjoy yourselves. But before I go, I will play one more song for you all. Again, I personally could care less if I get copyrighted because it's inevitable, but, well, let me put it this way. We need some good music. I'll be honest with you. I like rap, but I'm not a fan of this mumble rap, to be really honest with you. Brothers, sisters, okay, it could just be because I'm white, maybe? I don't know. Please, I gotta ask this question. Do you like some of these new songs, or do you miss the classics as much as I do? I don't know. I personally am not really crazy about the music that comes out today. So that said, a buddy of mine who also was black, he showed me a artist that I was not familiar with. I'm going to find him real quick so I can show you all one of the videos. I saw this the other day and I was just like, my gosh, why have I not seen this dude? Please tell me his videos didn't get demonetized. It's Tom something. Hold on. Hold up. I'm trying to find the way. Tom something. What is his name? Is it Tom McDonald? Yes. Tom McDonald, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he's an interesting character because I think in some ways his songs, yes, they're a bit out there, and his imagery is a bit out there, but is way too relevant to what's going on today. And I gotta be real, I think this man is on to something. Oh gosh, where is it? I'm trying to find it. Here we go. No, not that one. For some reason, YouTube is acting all weird now. For some reason, I think it's because I've subscribed to him, and now it's triggering. I'm sorry, but I would recommend checking out him. He is I think kind of an underground new rapper that's come out of nowhere. And the man is, I'm going to be honest with you, some of these songs that he's got going are pretty interesting. I personally, I'm not normally into the genre, but I can't say I hate it. I actually do like some of these songs that he has got going. And probably way more factual than some of these other, yeah, man, I'm gonna go bang up and shoot up a place. He actually makes a song that commentates on, is it just me or does it seem like everything is now just that? But, oh well. That said, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you're at in this world, hope you all enjoy the stream and hope you all have a safe time. And once again, you can watch this stream through Twitch or through YouTube. I pretty much have both of these platforms linked together in the description down below. If you wish to help support the channel and support the official release, there is also a donation link down in the description below. It's just how the way this system is working is when I upload a video, basically all the descriptions of everything is down there. So that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our show, and I'll see you all when I see you all. Deuces.